Hey everyone, this is Geeky Panda here, Panda guys. Another one of my videos. This is actually a Panda reaction. Originally, I did do a live reaction of this on my stream, but I recorded it, lost the file, and instead of going back and try to clipping it all, you know what? Let's just do it all over again. Just get it all done and over with. And Hancho, one of the squad partners out there, made a video stating on why squad sucks right now. And lately, I kind of admit squad isn't at the place where it should be right now. I think this is where I just have so much frustrating moments with this game. Like, I enjoy this game a lot. I've enjoyed it ever since the days of Project Reality. I've backed it up as a founder during the Kickstarter days, and I've seen this game go through some interesting hurdles, you know, getting to the point where it is now. And then we have the upcoming Unreal Engine 5 update. So with that, it is a frustrating experience. It's like a frustrating tease. Like, you like it, but it's just so goddamn frustrating at times. Or it's like sometimes I just have to walk away, play another game, just to, you know, be like, okay, wash that taste out, and then go back into it again. So with that, let's start with the video in 3, 2, 1, go.
How's it going, everyone?
Hancho is a fucking fantastic creator as well. Make sure you all check him out.
Honest with you guys here, and I know some of you either won't be expecting it or simply won't want to hear this. But Squad sucks right now.
Like, it kind of does, yeah.
It really, really sucks. And you know, not even right now. This is something I felt for a good 6 to 8 months. Now, this video might get a bit rambly, but hold on. This is going to be quite the ride.
Yeah. A little backstory never hurts, so, but yeah, no, it does, it is
back
painful.
Over the past 2.5 years, looking at Squad's history, and it's been a really good time for Squad. Updates came regularly, and they were all good updates as well. No rollbacks, I mean, that I can remember. And each update did what it was set out to do. The player base was growing, and there was a great mix of players, both new and experienced. And that's even after the infantry combat overhaul update. But I want
context, I hate Ico. I think Ico kind of fucked up the gameplay a bit, where everything was so based on stamina, it made the gameplay slower because of it. And if you were out of stamina, you're trying to hit something, good fucking luck. You know, if you were AT trying to hit something, holy fucking shit. Like, I played a lot of armor. Like, granted, they toned back Ico so much where it's like, okay, it's better from when it first, you know, released. It's like, I can now put up with infantry combat, but I still hate a few things, including the PIP or the PIP optics, which every time I look at an optic, my frame rates drop like 20 frames. So I use iron sights mostly, but hey.
I want to say, since Squad updated to 8.0, things have really started to go downhill. Performance has nosedived dramatically, quality of games has tanked, quality of updates has worsened with every one, and as a result, the amount of bugs and in-game issues has risen dramatically. I've had more Unreal crashes since 8.0 was dropped than I have the entire past 7 years of playing Squad combined. It has been absolutely dire. Look, yes, I know they're working on porting to Unreal 5, but we still have no idea how long it's going to be till we see this. But before I do touch on that, let's start dissecting with...
Also, people think that Unreal Engine 5 is like this update will literally fix all the issues. No. Don't treat it like this. We don't know what Unreal Engine 5 upgrade will do. In the past, when Squad upgraded the engine, when OWI upgraded the engine for Squad, I remember one engine upgrade, it royally screwed over the game by a lot. Like, it caused a lot of fucking issues. And I'm a little worried with Unreal Engine 5, you know, like, the promise of it could be potentially good, like potentially better optimization, better gameplay elements, but I'm like holding back. I'm like, okay, I'm extremely fucking cautious. So extremely fucking cautious.
Things have started to unravel. Map voting got introduced back in 7.3.
Yep.
And again, whilst it's a cool feature, it feels a little bit unfinished. There's a bunch of commands given to server owners to help put restrictions in on what can and cannot be voted on. Now, for a quick example, we wanted to set a few layers out so only light infantry and airborne could be used.
Okay.
Basically to exclude all units that have heavy vehicles so people could have a different experience. This was all good and fine until we found out that we couldn't exclude combined arms, despite being told that we can. And it's still like that now. This then creates the issue of when one team picks airborne, the other will pick combined due to the fact that the heavy vehicles will wipe out the helis for fun.
And I fucking hate that. I fucking hate that so much. I hate map voting because people try to be like, oh, pick this, and not realizing you do realize that picking this faction, the sub-faction, like if you want to go airborne, you're going against a combined arms army. Like they have heavy vehicles that will fuck up your shit 6 ways a Sunday. Now, granted, some maps are better than others, you know, like you might have a chance, but majority of the time, especially if it's like a more like a wider open map, you know, you're going to be royally screwed. Basically, it's going to be almost a one-sided battle. If they have competent armor players on the other team that's combined, you're going to be fucked.
When map voting first got introduced, half of the commands didn't work as intended, or flat out just didn't work at all. So
yeah.
They've done well in getting most of that polished out, but this is my first example of things being made to the point of, yeah, that's good enough, on to the next thing.
It kind of does feel like that. I also want to point out that with the introduction of map voting, I feel like we're at a point now that because so many people prefer these certain maps, other maps kind of get overshadowed. Like, honestly, at this point, I might even think, like, okay, maybe we should just have fucking a playlist again, you know? Like, because people, yeah, it is kind of annoying that people choose the same maps over and over again. But the different factions that they chose does not make the game balanced. Sometimes they choose two different factions, like armored, you know, I've seen this, like an armored faction like Russia or something like that, against PMC's air in Gorodok. You're not going to win that fucking battle, no matter how hard you think about it. You know, again, you know, if you win, you're the exception that proves the rule, basically. But I think, like, you know, map voting in general is just we're seeing like almost like a, you know, same maps, same scenario. You know, I want something different. Like maybe let's try going to Mestia. You know, granted, there's some maps I don't believe that should be on there, like Samari. Samari is only good for fucking seeding, and also what was the other map? I believe it was Logar Valley. Yeah, Logar Valley. I fucking hate that map. That's also another, like, that's just an infantry focused small map. I just hate it. Yeah, I just hate it.
The other issue that's come with this is people keep voting for the same
hey!
stuff over and over again.
Yeah, let's go.
The same 5 maps. And the first team to either get US Army, PMC, or USMC always mass votes for it without even looking at what the unit actually is. Unless it's armored, then people will spam vote the hell out of that.
Yeah, it's honestly, people don't think, they think, oh, if they pick this faction. No, wait. I've seen games where it is so one-sided because people mass vote on this one thing because, oh, it's US Army, USMC, or PMCs, not realizing the other team's like, oh, guys, if we just choose this, we're gonna fuck their shit up 6 ways to fucking Sunday. And it's just, it makes that imbalance. Like, nothing feels balanced. Like, when I used to host events with a group that no longer exists, the 56, which they were a great community back then. I always, you know, when I try to do map rotations, I always try to keep things fair, you know, keep things unique. Like, let's do these maps included, but let's keep the factions kind of fair. Of course, this was back then before, you know, all these sub-factions and stuff like that. But I try to mix things up a little bit, you know, try to make things that can complement, you know, things. But yeah, it just, the imbalance of things is just now, it's just holy fucking shit.
Oh, and don't even think about enabling anonymous voting, because people will start troll voting when that's on, so
yeah,
you end up with some truly awful things.
Yeah.
This is really making things feel very stale right now, which is only cemented by the fact that when some of the rarer maps do get voted for, over half the server will leave. And I'll get onto this later because there's one huge thing that has a factor in this that's linked with the ICO.
That is really fucking true.
Some of these units are also incredibly unbalanced, especially after these recent tweaks the factions got. But again, that's a story for another day. During this time, They also made changes to how the lanes in Squad work for the capture points.
Oh, God.
And I don't know if this was done to make things easier for everyone or what, but you don't even need squad lanes anymore. Not that you did anyway.
Oh, God, no.
But because so many maps now, you know exactly where it's going, even after the very first objective. There is literally nothing random about random advance and secure. It's just advance and secure with a little bit of fog of war hiding the objectives.
So fucking true. Random advance and secure is literally just advance and secure with just a few extra steps. After there comes to a certain point, you play this game long enough, after the first 1 or 2 points, you know exactly where the fucking lane is going. You know, you don't even need squad lanes. Like, I've been playing squad for so long, like after the first or 2 points, I'm like, after the first point, I'm like, okay, I could go here, 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 or here. Second point, oh, it's gonna go here more likely now. So people could just rush over there and stuff like that, which I know he's going to talk about in the video as well. But it's just, there's nothing truly random about it. If I want a truly random experience, even if it doesn't make sense, that's what it is, random. You know, like when you're trying to make, like when they say they're making it random, honestly, they made it very predictable, and that has a whole host of problems because people just bum rush basically. You know.
They also made changes to flag capping speeds, and whilst this was a well-intended change, it seemed very poorly thought through. 27 people now gives you the fastest cap, but when you look at the cap itself, you get 5 chevrons at 16 people. Like, make that make sense. 5 chevrons indicates the fastest cap speed. Oh, but there's a secret, and if you get an extra 9 people, you can cap and you shave a further 20 seconds off it. Why?
Yeah, I don't think, like, I think they should have just capped it at, like, if you got 2 squads on there, you're going to get the fastest cap regardless. You don't need any more. All you're really doing is you're not allowing the team to spread out on the map as they should. Like, if I was, you know, the perfect scenario for me is one or 1.5 or, you know, squads start capping the point. Everyone else, get as much ground as you fucking can and bunker down. You know, try to prevent them from pushing. Well, the back cap keeps going, basically.
But the issues don't stop there. Now, some newer players may not notice these issues, but experienced players certainly do.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why we have a lack of experienced players right now. For start-offs,
so fucking
the
true.
maths of having over half of your team for the fastest back cap isn't very healthy for the game. For the fastest cap speed, you need 3 full infantry squads.
Which doesn't make fucking sense. It's like you're almost, it's so impractical where you're almost like fucking handicapping yourself, like at the start of the game. At the start of the game, like a lot of things kind of do matter. We're like, again, gain as much ground as you can, try to recon where the enemy might be going, or you know, if you kind of figure out where the points are going, you go there to meet them and start duking it out, you know. But having majority of your team in the rear lines, I'm like, guys, what the fuck's going on? You're just going to allow the team to basically hopscotch their way right on our front fucking door, so.
You have a maximum of 50 people in your team. By the time you've taken out your 2 heli pilots, 1 tank crew of 3 or 4,
yeah,
the 3 infantry fighting vehicle crews with their pocket anti-tankers, or maybe a medic, that can equate to another 8 to 12 people. You only have between 10 and 6 leftover players to fulfill roles such as mortar fob, logistics, and other bits and bobs.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it just doesn't make fucking
if you want the
sense.
fastest back cap, you end up having to get your team's entire main infantry squads to do this. And as a result, this presents quite a few problems.
Yeah, you're not being aggressive enough. It's like you're being fucking defensive.
Firstly,
by design, you know,
you end up with no map presence.
Yeah, exactly.
As I referred to before, because the lanes are so bad and now easily worked out, these semi-experienced people automatically know where to be to get to midpoint ready, set up a hab or 2, and get dug in. So by the time your team has worked through the back cap and got to your 3rd objective, the enemy are usually already there set up and waiting for you. So you don't stand a chance. So because your entire team is back capping, there's no one else to deal with the guys who push up further forwards.
And one of the things that annoys the shit out of me is when I am squad leading, if we're capping a point, I tell my squad, listen, I need you guys to stay near the truck. Don't go off anywhere. Stay near it, because as soon as we capture this, I want us to get out of here within 10 seconds. Like, because I notice it takes so long for squads to regroup get back in their fucking vehicles, and go on to the next point. It takes stupidly long. For me, I'm like, no, we are out of here in less than 10 seconds when that point is capped. We are gone. You know, if someone is lagging behind because they ventured out too far, like, wait for me. I'm like, no, I fucking told you, stay near the fucking truck. We're going to be leaving immediately. If you go off to do something else or something, I'm leaving you behind, because because the sooner we get more, the sooner we conquer more ground, the better for our team's position is on the map. You know, having 3 squads trying to regroup and then move on to the next point, well, the enemy team's probably like, oh, we're already here at the middle. We're probably going to start pushing in on your side of the map now, on your like points essentially. So that's what I fucking hate. You know, like if you can get something was in my eye. If you can get your squad to get in the truck and move on within 10 seconds, you're doing phenomenal. If it takes you guys over like a minute or two to get out of there, you're doing something horribly fucking wrong.
And because traditionally, people will never set up hubs on the first or second objective because it's the backcapping, you don't need to be there.
Yep.
By the time they get the 3rd point and wiped out, you've got nowhere to spawn, and everyone's back at main, and then the whole cycle starts again.
It's funny because Honcho's right. Like at this point, as just a strategy, set up a fob on the 2nd point as a safety net. You don't need to give it a lot of ammo or, you know, construction. Just give it the bare bones. Just have that safety net there. If we need to resupply it, the helicopters can do it, or a Logi squad or something like that, or someone with a Logi truck, which helicopters are now doing more reconnaissance than logistics nowadays, which I've noticed, which kind of fucking sucks when you think about it. Like yeah, I understand they're trying to do a little bit of recon, but we also kind of need supplies quick and in a hurry.
Secondly, this creates what we call blob mentality. Because the infantry is in one massive blob moving from point to point, there's no leapfrogging going on. You see, before this update, you would get 2 squads on the back cap, and they would, what I've referred to as leapfrogging.
Yeah.
One squad would cap, the other squad would be at where the 2nd cap would be. So once squad 1 has capped the point, squad 2 are already there ready to cap. So squad 1 would leapfrog squad 2 and go to the 3rd objective. This was always the most efficient way and the safest way to get set up, whilst your other squads spread out through the map to get into the right positions.
Yeah, exactly.
And so because there's no leapfrogging going on, what we've ended up with is no one defends. Because the blob turns into a microwave-brained hive mind entity, and as soon as a point is capped, they all move to the next objective, be it uncapped or occupied.
I fucking hate this so fucking much. Everyone loves to attack, no one wants to defend. And I tell people, like, sometimes defending in squad is some of the most chaotic battles that you'll ever experience. Sometimes it's more fun that way to defend than it is to attack. Like, yeah, it might be calm at first, but I guarantee you, the longer it takes for your team to try to get to the point, the more time the enemy will most likely start attacking yours, and in full force. So there has to be someone holding back. There has to be someone on the defending point. If I was playing, you know, with me and my friends, or if I have a small squad, we're like, guys, we're going defense. Like, we need everyone on defense, basically. If the only time we're all going off defense is when our team's about to cap the point, and we're like, okay, we can get out of here quickly. Let's grab a truck, you know, let's just move. But if they still have not even capped the point, or they only neutralize it and they're still fighting ferociously, we're still going to hold, you know, we're still going to play defense here. I don't fucking care. If you go off there, I might kick you out from the squad, because I'm like, no, we're on defense. If you want to be on offense, join their squad. Oh, their squad is full? Well, I'm telling you, play defense or get kicked. Like, I'm sorry, but it's a rule. Like, it's servers adopt that. Squad leaders can kick anyone for any reason in their squad, and I'm going to be like, hey, follow my lead. We're playing defense.
But the biggest issue with this is teams are so unbelievably vulnerable to being rushed.
Oh god, yeah.
1 or 2 infantry fighting vehicles can easily rush their opposing team's 2nd or 1st cap point, because, as I keep saying, they are so easy to work out because the lanes are so bad.
Yep.
So when they arrive to find 2 lodges and 1 transport truck all full of infantry, all 3 vehicles get destroyed along with all of the infantry. So they end up losing around 43 tickets in one go, and they now have no lodges to set up hubs as they are on a spawn timer, and because there's no map presence with forward hubs, all of the guys who got murked have nowhere to spawn, so that game is pretty much a write-off.
So fucking true. Like, whenever I get in like a armor and do IFEs, I have a mentality of either either I'm gonna do some aggressive recon, or like in my back of my mind, I could probably fuck over their fucking, you know, caps. And I know DOD, and I know he's gonna mention in this video, they have a rule set up where you can't bum rush the first 2 points, you know, just because it's a player new, it's a new player friendly server. And so I'm like, okay, let's just hunt vehicles then, you know. We're gonna hunt other sorry, trying to clear my voice. We're gonna hunt other armor.
And you aren't even 10 minutes in yet. And apart from the vehicle crew that got all of those kills, that game winds up being...
Also, this is so frustrating as armor, where how do you not notice the enemy fucking vehicle right in fucking front of you?
No fun for anyone else, because
and now you
cannot
notice.
Defend, and the other team just keeps taking objective after objective with no resistance. So they get bored as well. Now, yes,
you
could say to the armor to stay back with the back cabin blob, but that itself
no,
ends
God
up
no,
making a bigger
fuck
blob
no,
and makes the gameplay loop.
Also, that Bradley totally deserved to fucking die. Rolling up on an enemy vehicle like that and not realizing it's there, you could have probably used a tow on this thing too, so to try to help take it out. But I digress. No, I am not gonna fucking roll with the infantry. In the beginning of the match, in an IFV, I am like, okay, I know there are squads out there that are mechanized, which fucking fantastic, great. But for me, I'm going to go out hunting. Like, I am going to go out there trying to hunt for shit and try to recon. If you want me to defend the fucking blob, trying to backcap, I'm like, no, what the fuck? You know, they need me out there.
Even worse. On my squad server Dead on Dismount, we have had to add in and police
very
heavily
a
no rushing rule due to it being a new player-friendly server, and to make sure games don't get ruined from the very beginning.
Which, in reality, I've noticed that there's a lot of servers out there that basically has a new player-friendly server tag on it, which, in reality, if you put... It's dramatic fucking irony. If every player is new player-friendly server, does that mean, you know... I don't know. Food for thought.
Honestly, if you want to fix this, having the maximum cap reduced to 16 players,
I do agree,
would make the initial stage of the game so much more fluid and so much more dynamic. But speaking of walking through objectives, surely I cannot be alone in thinking that the movement speed in this game is a complete joke. Running 200 meters in this game is so painful, I don't even think about taking the safest route anymore. I just take the most direct route.
Absolutely fucking true. It's... The stamina and the movement of this game got slowed down since Ico, and now, like, he's right. Instead of taking safer routes that you'll kind of sneak your way in, sometimes you're like, fuck it, you know, the most direct route is the best because it's just the fastest. I wish they would give us a stamina boost. Either the stamina doesn't decrease as much, or we just get a little bit more to compensate, you know, whatever it is.
Especially if I'm running back to save a radio or something, because it's so slow, I don't have any other choice. I'm not asking for Call of Duty style movement.
Oh god no, god no.
But Squad is known as a running simulator. And you know what other game is known as a running sim?
Arma
Reforger. A game that is basically the same genre as Squad, where you end up actually running further than you do in Squad, but it doesn't feel as bad.
No,
because you're not running at the speed of a fucking pensioner that's had a double hip operation and is riddled with arthritis.
Oof.
Honestly, my 4-year-old walks faster than you do in Squad. Offworld's reason behind this was to force people to use vehicles to traverse around the map. Well, guess what? All of the light vehicles died in the first 10 minutes of the round because they were part of a fucking blob that got rushed, so now the team has no choice but to walk 1,800 meters to get to cap.
Or they abandon the vehicles somewhere and no one's using them. And no one wants to bother getting those vehicles because they've been abandoned because no one's using them.
The main issue lies within the stamina and how little you get and how quickly it gets used. And remember, stamina affects everything.
Yes, it does.
Movement speed, weapon sway, recoil control. Use 25% of it and you're really starting to put yourself at a severe disadvantage. However, if you look at Squad's sister, Squad 44, you have the same stamina system. However, it goes down about 50% slower than Squad's, and you get a canteen system to help boost your stamina back up. Honestly,
I think in this light, Squad 44's stamina system is definitely better than Squad's. I will admit to that. Like, if you have the stamina system in Squad 44 and Squad, I think it'll be better, even without not even giving a canteen. Just give them a bladder pack or something like that. The one-time use only, but no, it's better in 44. I do admit.
Honestly, the smartest way to fix this will simply be to increase the base movement speed when your stamina is at 0 by about 5%.
I would agree with that or something like that, you know.
It'll make a big difference, especially when you're running those longer distances. Also, they boost how much stamina you have by about 25% and reduce how quickly it's burned by 30 to 40. Keep that steep drop off in weapon handling when you get past the 60%, 50% stamina mark. That's fine because that serves its purpose and it does it well.
Exactly. Okay.
But for those moments when you need to walk even just 300 meters or more, it will make it massively less painful. Now, to finish this off, Squad would massively benefit from having a dynamic speed similar to what you get in Tarkov and Armor. This is when you can use your scroll wheel to go from maximum speed all the way down to virtually stopped. This would honestly make the game feel like it's not only from the 21st century, but again, it's a huge quality of life improvement, especially as base ADS walking speed right now feels like you're still jogging. So if you want to move slower, you have more control over your weapon. So if you're defending or want to creep up on an enemy objective, it puts a bit more power in your hands and it's not as penalizing.
Like, I think it would work out a bit better. Like, if I'm trying to sneak, like, I would like to move in slower than usual, even with ADSing. I think it could work in Squad. I think something like having the scroll wheel just control how fast we move, I think it could work. Performance! What's that?
Now, one of the biggest issues I have in Squad right now is performance, or a complete lack of it. Now, I know I play on 4K, but I have done for quite a while now, and over the past few updates, I've lost upwards of 40 FPS. It's now at the point where I have to reduce the scaling in-game just to get smooth and steady frames. Why I can get 100 plus FPS in Squad 44 and I struggle to break 60 in Squad. And
I mean, Squad, like, the game has optimization issues for a while now, and it's just never really got addressed. It got tackled a little bit. Like, I remember when Fallujah first came out, oh my god, that thing, oh god, it was bad. Like, even before it got officially released during the playtest, it was something. But it's still, like, there are certain maps that you'll feel it more than others, definitely. But it's just the game's optimization sucks. Like, I'm planning to upgrade my rig this summer to a more powerful, beefy solution and set up my current rig now as a streaming PC. You know, just so, like, when I'm recording or streaming in a game like Squad, I don't lose my frames because the game's already unoptimized as it is, Which, again, the Unreal 5 engine upgrade, it'll be a welcome, but even then I'm holding back, be like, okay, what are you going to do? What's going to mess up because of this? But I do believe they do need to tackle the optimization issues. Like, definitely.
Not only that, Squad 44 is a superior looking game. I can't use DLSS or anything like that because it completely messes up optics, rendering them totally useless.
Yeah, that's true.
It just makes everything look all grainy and mushed up mess. But on Squad 44, it looks fine. Now, I know using Unreal 5...
That's so weird. Like, using DLSS makes using optics a fucking pain in the ass. Like, again, the PIP or the PIP optic system, I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. Because we drop frames in those optics. So, for me, if the match is particularly rough, I'm like, okay, iron sights, red dot or iron sights or something like that, because I cannot even basically.
Is set to help the developers sort this. but it's just become the default answer for everything.
Yeah, yeah,
If
it's...
someone raises an issue, Unreal 5.
Yeah, I hate this, that Unreal 5 upgrade is literally people's cure-all. Like, people think this is going to be a cure-all to Squad, that's going to bring in a new renaissance. No, no. You weren't there for the prior engine upgrades in Squad were fucked up things. You weren't there. Like, some of you might have came in when Squad was officially released, or recently because we had some sales. You weren't there for that fucking time. You know, again, don't treat Unreal Engine 5 as the goddamn magic cure-all, you know. Like, it'll definitely change things, I do admit. But we don't know what these changes will, you know, what kind of changes will happen because of it, you know. Will it break the game more? Will there be more bugs? Will the optimization still be rough around the edges? You know, we'll see.
If it's a bug, Unreal 5, or a problem,
yeah, exactly. I fucking hate that logic
we're waiting
of
on
a cure-all.
5 to fix that.
I hate that fucking logic.
Well, but it feels like they're gambling on checks they haven't even been able to cash in yet. Granted, I have seen how good Squad looks in Unreal 5 with some of the lighting and skybox changes.
Stuff that they released looks fantastic.
An example with the dynamic weather and stuff. But I'm telling you right now, if my FPS is worse than it is now, I will not be touching Squad for a very, very long time.
And I've had my moments where I walked away from Squad because I got too frustrated with it. I walked away from Squad for like almost a year and then came back to it, and they're like, oh, okay. You know, I am not afraid to do that because why am I going to keep... why am I just going to keep getting frustrated over a game where I can just play other games? You know, and some of my friends who were playing games like Dorkly Moogle, one of my community members and best friends, he loved and enjoyed Squad, especially Armor. He was an Armor god, but he got so fed up with Squad, he's like, this is so fucking stupid. I don't want to play anymore. And he was a skilled, experienced player. We are in a crux right now, we're in an interesting situation where we don't have as many experienced players, and we keep getting in a lot of new players. So when the games, the quality of the matches are going to show so much. Of course, you got your comp side, you know, all the comp teams and all that stuff. They're like, oh, we can just use these strategies to fucking bum rush and roll the fucking opposite team. Like, you motherfuckers. Like, yeah, you're winning, but you're winning against fucking noobs and people don't know what they're exactly doing. Is it really a fucking win in your fucking book? You know? Like, a win, like, to comp people, you know, I treat that whole... I don't want to deal with comp. I don't like the whole idea of esports or competition in Squad, because Squad is a large-scale combined arms game. I don't like... It's kind of like that. You do what you do over there. I do what I do over here. You know, you can have your fun there. I can have my fun here. But it's just right now we just got a lot of newbies, and they're not getting, you know, the time it takes for them to learn this game. Got a hell of a lot longer because, again, we got a tutorial which you learn the controls, but that's it, and everything else is trial by fire in a multiplayer match where they watch YouTube videos, which some of them might be outdated anyways because they changed a few of the gameplay mechanics.
We're getting so many bugs returning as well.
Yeah.
The RPG reload bug is back. The FPS sway bug is back.
Oh, fucking hate
There's
those.
still buildings that if you place a hab or a rally inside of it, it breaks the spawn and you can't spawn in it.
Oh,
and this has been
so
in-game since 2018. And just recently when they pushed out a quick update to fix the INI exploit, it broke a bunch of textures, and they weren't even aware of it, so it had to be rolled back once the community spammed them in Discord.
Yeah, that
the most recent
was...
bug I've encountered is the
that
vehicles
was
with
a fucking...
huge amounts of input delay, and if you decide to change kit inside of...
That fucking bug, it was just like, what the fuck? That's all I gotta say. Or if I want to go, you know, French Quebec, you know, be like, tabarnak.
Vehicle, and you get out, you find you've got nothing in your hands. You know, 8.0 brought the ATGM rework, which looks cool and all, and it did fix the whole point-and-click adventure, but it feels incredibly unfinished and imbalanced. Infrared ATGMs are far better than wire-guided, especially as they can hit moving targets much easier,
exactly,
and can be fired on the move.
Exactly.
Doesn't sound like much, but the fact that this game can be so damn laggy and suffers from woeful input delays on things, with the wire-guided vehicles have been known to jerk forwards a tiny bit, that renders them completely useless. That also doesn't account for the fact that wire-guided is also affected by vehicle smoke, and both ATGMs seem to bounce or get deflected 95% of the time. Or if you are in a vehicle and you watch one go right past you, only to find yourself on fire some 10 seconds later. Again, it's just another project that's been brought to 80% and then just abandoned. With a lot of the experienced people stepping away from Squad, all of the new players are left at the helm of the 200-hour Andy Brigade. Players who think they know it all, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't even know the half of it.
And that's fucking dangerous. That is really fucking dangerous, because they could be teaching the new people coming in of how to do things, and okay, they got taught wrong, and now it's like this never-ending fucking effect of like, oh fucking hell, they're kind of playing it wrong. They don't have the whole picture. They got like it's like it's like they took half of the puzzle, but they only got half of the pieces. They never had the chance to get the other half yet. So
there's far too much onus and weight on squad leaders these days, and
it's
as a result,
fucking horrible.
it is burning people out faster than ever.
Being a squad leader in squad is fucking stressful, because it's like you're hurting kittens, and they could be fucking drunk too, which makes things worse. You know, literally, or just what's that term? You know what I mean? It's like hurting drunk kittens, basically. Plus, you got either the SL, the commander channel could be quiet as a fucking, to a T, like no one's talking or communicating with each other, or they're talking and now, oh, this happens, oh, now they're bitching, complaining at each other. And there are moments, and I said this in my stream too, where command channel got so bad, I had to start muting squad leaders and commanders because it was literally a bitch fest. And the other SLs that weren't taking part in that bitch fest, I start trying to communicate with them, because you can do that directly through the numpad. It's just, everything is just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I gotta help teach the newbies. I gotta endure, or I gotta make sure my squad's in check. I gotta endure what's going on in the fucking comm channel. And then I gotta endure what bad calls that people are making, like, oh, do this, do that. I'm like, that doesn't make fucking sense. Right now, doesn't make sense. Okay, let's keep going.
The tutorial feels massively outdated, and let's be honest, it is incredibly dull and boring.
Yeah.
It is desperate for an overhaul. Then saying that, most of the game modes need an overhaul too, or at bare minimum, the lanes. Now look, I know I've been rambling on for a while now, and I've barely scratched the surface, but you're probably thinking, if you hate Squad so much, why am I doing all of this? Well, that's because I'm very passionate about this game. I've built not only my community around this, but also Dead on Dismount. So naturally, I want to see this game succeed, grow, and go forwards in a positive direction like it had been. I have been full of praise when the devs have got things right in the past, but I've also been vocal when I feel they've got things wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing now. Because if I didn't care about Squad, I would simply uninstall it and move on.
Exactly. Like we complain about this because we care. Like we should call out OWI for like, guys, this doesn't work. This should be better. Being constructive with the feedback can help shape this game. When you're saying, oh, fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, like, no, be constructive. Like, no, this doesn't work because of this, or hey, we're having issues because of this bug that keeps fucking things over, essentially. Which I will probably make a small video about the whole Squad Arena thing later on. Again, I don't like comp, and with how Squad Arena had its first show, or I guess ish, because it's got canceled or postponed because of bugs within the mod, which is kind of hilarious when you think about it. But I'll I might talk about that in another video here, but yeah, no, it's just, we complain and give feedback because we care. We want this game to be better,
Like I did back in 2020, when this game was a real pile of crap.
Oh god.
Thank you for bearing.
2020 was when it first released, I believe. That was wasn't 2020 the initial release of it? Like to 1.0, and it was like, no, you guys fucking rushed this, didn't you? Like, it felt rushed. Oh man.
With me through this rambly ass video. I do have another one lined up soon, where I go through some of the possible changes Squad can make to revitalize itself.
I'm interested in seeing that video.
Improve itself.
I'm interested.
But I've also got an interview lined up with one of the devs for a bit of a Q&A session, so keep an eye out for those.
Again, Honcho, fantastic creator. Really awesome squad player as well. Like, I highly recommend checking him out. He's a squad partner too. Like, I'm a squad partner, and like a lot of the things he put down in this video, I fucking agree with. Like, totally. Like almost everything basically, because it's like I've been frustrated with this game myself. Like, I want this game to do better. I am like, I want this game to do better. Like I don't want it to falter and stuff like that, and we have to go to a different game, you know. Like, but it's just like it's just so frustrating where I'm like, okay, guys, I'm gonna play a different game for the meantime because I'm just so frustrated with Squad. But no, I do hope, you know, the Unreal Engine 5 update is coming, and I do hope that it does bring some of the changes that we desperately need. But at the same time, I'm just being extremely cautious with it. Don't treat it like a cure-all, you know, but just, you know, if you see, give constructive feedback to OWI. If you see bugs and stuff like that, report it. But anyways, thank you all so much for checking out this reaction with me. I will post down the original video link in the description box below. Make sure you give Honcho a like and a sub over there for if you can enjoy this video as well. Make sure you check out the Squad content if you enjoy Squad. Other than that, thank you all so much for tuning in. You guys have been awesome out there. Hit that like and subscribe if you also enjoyed it as well. But I do stream weekly on YouTube and Twitch, and feel free to join my Discord. Other than that, I hope you all out there have a... well, it's Monday. I hate Mondays. But have a good week out there, everyone. Let's see Panda here. I'm out, and stay geeky, my friends.